Hello, everybody. I'm sorry for the short ramp up. If you're watching, maybe I should sit here for a second and wait for speakers or people to show up here. Do, 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 do. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, Hackers Health. There we go. Um, Sorry, I'm literally getting off a phone call with my doctor who prescribed my kryptonite to me. So. It's okay. I didn't need that finger. Okay. Um, Hope everyone's having a good day, having a good week. It's Tuesday, and I streamed a bit on Sunday, and I got a lot of feedback about my stream. And I appreciate one. I appreciate that ones of people are actually watching the stream. Um, I appreciate the candor that some of them had. I don't consider training at all to be useless. That is one thing I'm always a fan of. Hell, education is in our moniker and has been for a long time. Um, Maybe I'm just one of those people who've gotten out of touch with things, and you know, it is what it is. Um, One of the things that I failed to mention after the or during the stream was using it goes along the same lines as when your company is implementing security controls or implementing their own encryption. It's like the first rule is do not implement your own encryption, do not implement your own authentication mechanisms. Use what is available out there because it's easier to sell what you're doing if you're using a standardized process. Um, if you say, hey, we're following NIST guidelines. Now, we're following them. Don't ever say we're fully NIST compliant, but it's like we have taken the NIST 800-53 framework and we have implemented or are in the process of implementing in our roadmap these 15 things out of 25, that kind of thing. You don't say we're fully NIST compliant because then you'd be like that poor bastard who's being brought up on charges of fraud as a CISO saying they were NIST compliant or whatever. Those frameworks are not a compliance framework, they're a best practice framework. And so, yeah, my point is it's easier to explain to a potential employer in the future, hey, I have a SANS cert because it's a known quantity. It's something that they understand and you understand. Now, yes, if you can explain to them, hey, I took this training at X and it's not on the list, but there was a practical exam and there was a 5-hour CTF and I won, I won best hacker at, it's like one of those things. It's like, I don't have a certification, but I have a black badge from DEF CON because I won the CTF. I've always said, if you have a black badge because you won the DEF CON CTF, one, you need to put that on your resume, that kind of thing, because that's not that's not shabby, y'all. So achievements or trainings that you can explain away, if you can get your foot in the door. My issue with the non-standard trainings as well is, yes, you're going to improve yourself. You need to show how that training brought value to the company. I was able to increase the number of findings in our organization, or this directly impacted us in how we do red team engagements, and we're able to bring this additional tooling to bear. So being able to take non-standard training and being able to sell it to your management as, I need this, we need this is going to be helpful, or to a potential employer that you're looking for a job with, I need, this was a 5-hour CTF, I ended up with a black badge from Black Hat after it, that kind of stuff. Or I learned how to pull off, PCBs off a board and dump firmware, and that was helpful for the work that I was doing as a red teamer for device testing, that kind of thing. And of course, there may just be some stuff that um, you just want to learn. I just the practical applications of it is something that is not lost on me, but it's harder to sell. And so in my last stream I did mention, hey, we should probably work on trying to get some recruiters on. It's kind of difficult. A lot of the recruiters either, I don't want to say distrust me, but the one that I talked with Beta Wolf, who had mentioned a contact, said that they didn't want any ill will with their new job because they too were also trying to break into infosec, and I completely understand that. You don't want to bite the hand that feeds. And other recruiters have told me, hey, yeah, let's do that, and kind of Hollywood luncheon me. I'm still waiting on a couple of responses back from a couple of others, but I'm not confident on that because I believe that I'm picking at a scab of the hiring industry, that it's pretty much we're going to throw a bunch of shit at the wall and see what sticks kind of thing. And as long as the check's clear, a lot of recruiters are like, yeah, I don't really care if that company finds talent. I'm just going to send 15 people their way. And if it's different and you're watching this and you're like, no, that's not how my recruiting works, or I do recruiting differently, would love for you to reach out and say hello and say, Brian, you know what the fuck you're talking about. So enough of that. We're going to veer away to some really weird shit that's going on in infosec. One second. No, I need my bottom thirds. Ever since I got this bottom thirds thing, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, see that little thing right there? Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so Monday morning, bright and early, I'm checking my Twitters as I'm wont to do, because I want to engage. Oh, hello. I want to engage people. I want to understand what's going on, and so I don't follow this person, Jurgly. Oh God, I apologize. I don't know that person's name. It's like when I read Hunt for Red October back when I was in high school. Oh, it's that person. So this person is a pragmatic engineering guidebook advisor, mobile_Dell, formerly Uber and Skype, pragmaticurl.com, etc., etc. Lives in the Amsterdam, Netherlands, which is an awesome place. So this person found a tech conference that's fairly well known, I guess, in developer spaces. And they say, imagine, here, read it out. Imagine tech conference having no CFP, call for papers, which is pretty much de rigueur for a lot of conferences. You issue a CFP, people submit their papers. You have a board that usually will either blind or double blind them to make sure that you can accept them. It says they reach out to speakers directly. So this conference doesn't have a CFP, does not have a CFP. They reach out to speakers directly. Hey, come speak, which I've done that at conference. I've done that at the InfoSec Campout. Trying to do a CFP was kind of a pain in the ass. And so I would reach out to people and say, hey, come and speak. We had people like April Murdoch, who we've had on the show. We've had Amelie Coran, Web Jedi. We've had Web Jedi come on. We've had, a number of different people. We had, several speakers at our tracks. And so this conference in their, I don't know what this person's thinking. And this conference is now dead for all intents and purposes. And I don't know if the other conferences in this dev.events is going to come back. But this organizer made up women speakers, fake profiles of women speakers, with the idea that they were trying to promote a more inclusive conference of speakers. And obviously this person had reached out and found out specific people, there was a number of speakers at this conference that were supposed to be there, including these three people that don't exist. One of the fake women profiles this organizer created was a core Ethereum contributor, and another one was a staff engineer at Coinbase. And there was another person, this one, Anna Boinko, doesn't exist. Nobody from Coinbase or Ethereum has heard of her. Alina Prodhokuda, anyway, senior engineer at WhatsApp, Microsoft MVP blogger at Hashnode. Nobody's heard of these people. And so this Jersley had reached out on Twitter, obviously, done a nice screed about various things here. DevTernity, yeah. So this site no longer exists. If you go here, you get a white page, devternity.com. And it's gone now, but there used to be a list of like 10 or 15 speakers. A lot of the speakers who were legitimate, including folks that are like legitimate Googlers, Microsoftians. There was a couple of AWS folk, are gone. So yeah, so dev.events has, okay, so this was the DevTernity conference that they were touting, which no longer exists now because it's gone. JD Con is also now gone. As you can see, the icon for it is missing. This person responded on Twitter with, "Hey, you're attacking me. That's not legit. I created these as a test profile that I planned on replacing because somebody canceled at the last minute. So I put this one in as a placeholder." Apparently they caught with GitHub logs and commit logs showing that the person knew, so like Natalie Sadler is another person. And so, yeah, there's a number, like 3 years worth of fake accounts. So here's the person actually adding this. It wasn't an automated thing. It wasn't, per discussion. See, he claims so hard to get women speakers, but it's too hard. He paid a conference price of, $789, and this is per person. So almost 800 euros per person, $900 US, in addition to having sponsors. And this is an online conference. So I'm like, you don't have to buy or rent a hotel. There's no food requirements. You buy a Zoom, and I'm like, what are you getting $900 a head plus sponsors for? Is it like speaking fees? Is that how much it is to cost that? So it's there's a whole mess here. So this is Liz Fong Jones, who did some more work on who this Edward Sizevos is. It got worse because there's a well-known Instagram person out there called Coding. This person, Julia Kirsina, who is Coding Unicorn, I think is the name of it. And this person has been around since like 2019, 115,000 followers on Instagram. There's screenshots that have been collected by people stating that when Jennifer was logged in, it was logged in by this person, Edward Sizevos. I apologize to Edwards for that. I'm just ruining the name here. So yeah, there's a whole mess of. So yeah, here's some of the people we got a partial list. So this person, Julia was one of the speakers, and the point was the last couple of years, every time that there's been a female speaker at these conferences, they've canceled at the last minute. They've gotten the flu or something that happens where it's like they don't make it, and so conveniently the fake women speakers don't make it onto the don't get to speak, or they didn't show up, or they had to cancel at the last minute because of issues. I don't know, man. It's just there's a lot to unpack here. I've never seen a conference that's actually faked speakers. I mean, I've seen speakers who legitimately could not make it to a conference, but they existed. This person, I mean, yeah, so 2 years in a row, 21, 22, and 23, they had fake Natalie and fake Julia and fake Anna and Alina and Julia. The organizer has responded saying, oh, no, this person actually exists, but nobody's seen or heard of her, Julia in this case. So it's just really weird. So obviously, after this came to light, a lot of the legitimate talkers or speakers cut out. And JetBrains is one of the sponsors of DevTernity and JDConf. They've pulled their sponsorship and their logo's done. It's just crazy. This nut, and apparently this has been going on for several years. So this person is a well-established conference, touted as being a DE&I ally, and this happens. And this was his response. I won't be responding to the accusation. Won't link it here. Given that didn't bother contacting me and went straight to Twitter for concerns. He's deeply concerned about diversity. It's very hard to get female speakers. Worse than expected level of diversity is far from we wanted to achieve. We ended up with 3. He's still acting like these people exist when in fact they don't. He probably would have been better not even responding to this, but it is what it is. But I don't know of any security conferences, and it might actually be worth looking at, like the lesser known ones, maybe not the B-sides in those, but like the ones underneath. It's like you're going to start wondering, if these speakers who are not, the superstars that we know of, like the J Streets and, I can see her I can see her face. Like the Liz Fongs of the world, she goes and talks. You've got Katie Masuris, those kinds of folks. Those folks are known. They've been on our show a couple times. Legitimate people. But if you have people who are lesser known, to pad out the Amazon and Microsoft also dropped out according to the AP. Yeah. Well, hi, first time chatter. Appreciate you coming. Yeah, there's a lot of folks, and it gets dumber, right? Oh no, not that one. That's wrong link. Oh nope, that's another wrong link. Where is it? Yeah. So Liz has and the screenshots they have of Coding Unicorns login and the person involved is one of Legion. Yeah, there you go. I think I first saw it on. Yeah. Well, let's hope they drop out of all of the conferences that DevTernity does. Can continue to do so. But yeah, right now DevTernity's website for that conference is completely blank. There's nothing here. It has been completely deleted and wiped from the face of the earth. I'm assuming you could probably still find it on some place like Internet Archive if you wanted to go and poke around and look at the list. I'm sure once this all started going south for this person, somebody's archived this in Internet Archive too. Let's see. Anyway, it's just nuts that this happened on a Friday, on a Monday morning. I mean, early Monday morning. I mean, this was supposed to happen next, in 2 weeks, and it's no longer going to happen. Yeah, it's just really weird. So yeah, thank you for the link, Isil Shah 314. Yeah, it's nuts. And once you've lost Microsoft and Amazon and potentially Google and the other organizations that were involved, I don't know how you're going to get their money back. It's, you've been burned, right? And the speakers for those companies who work for those companies have been burned. And so, yeah, this does not bode well for dev.events to, as a whole at this point. So, um, hmm, interesting. D Matthews just posted up something. Anyway, so yeah, standby to standby, it's going to get dumber. I think it's going to get crazier with regards to that. I think we're going to see what I'm hoping we don't see more of is more creepiness from the owner of this stuff. Oh yeah, here's the screenshots from Coding Unicorn's Instagram. So you can see, the desktop of Coding Unicorn, and what you see here is open editors, the ZSHRC from Edwards SL. You can see the user directory for these folks, and so it appears, I'm not going to accuse him of it, but it appears, according to the screenshots that these folks have found, the usernames for Coding Unicorn and Edwards SI are exactly the same, which is really weird because that means Coding Unicorn's been masquerading in women's forums as as Julia for 4 years and has built up a sizable trust relationship with a lot of folks, and it's starting to kick people. Hey, Lady P, it's infosec. Oh, it gets dumber. Lady P, your voice. I thought you said your VoIP was going to be under new management or mismanagement, and you were worried about the potential outage. So I'm glad you're here, though. I'm glad maybe it went better than planned, and you're already back up and running. So it was oh, I'm sorry. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. And I'm hoping your doggies are fine too. I'm seeing a lot more news about that kennel cough. They're saying it's like kennel cough, but it's not. So I've got friends that are like, yeah, their dogs stay home now. They're not going to dog parks or anything until they figure out what's up with that. So it's a damned unfortunate thing. So I saw this today as well. Amazon is offering a palm recognition technology for building access and corporate security. It running now though. Puppies are well. They slept in the truck while I was in the office, but the guy I had helping me today tested positive. Oh, damn. COVID is still a thing, people. COVID is still a thing. So, yeah, and every time I hear somebody coughing, I'm like, is it the flu? Is it the COVIDs? Is it a bit of both? That kind of thing. RSV? Fuck, it could be RSV. So I was wearing. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's pretty good. You and my friend name too long. That's his handle on Twitter. He last time I saw him was at B-Side Seattle in April, and he had a full respirator and mask on, and he was walking around with like 2 spare batteries, and he had the little respirator thing on his like carrying it like a European satchel bag. And I applaud him for his due diligence. So that's yeah. Yeah, well, his is made even more weird because he has like full beard. So I'm like, man, that's like double uncut because all your beards are like pushed up underneath your mask and everything, so you can get a proper seal on your stuff. But yeah, I completely understand. So the palm recognition tech is interesting. I didn't know that our palms were much like our fingerprints or what have you. They announced it at Amazon One Enterprise in conjunction with the reInvent conference in Vegas. It's supposed to be some kind of access control function, so it's a biometric thing. There's a set of FAQs for it. So yeah, you can, palm, they call it palm modality for authentication. Combines palm and vein imagery for biometric matching and an accuracy rate of 6 nines, actually. But exceeds the accuracy of most biometric alternatives, even more accurate than scanning 2 irises. Since the devices operate beyond normal light spectrum, cannot accurately perceive sex or skin tone. It does not detect gender, race, protecting users' privacy. I don't think that's the problem. The problem is the biometrics of it. You only have two palms. You know, used to be the joke. You only have can only change your password with your fingerprint your password for like 10 times. Then you're gonna have to start using things like elbows or other interesting things that people have talked about in the past. You know, there's a lot to be said for biometrics, the security of those things. They say that the ID information will never be stored on the device. Oh, let's go look here. so, so Lady P, I think that's exactly the system he has as well. Yes, I believe he has the exact same one. That was pretty funny. Oh, I've been using fake spots, so I don't know if that's legit or not. So you'll have to keep an eye out on that. But yes, I believe that's the exact same system that he had. Except his had some kind of satchel bag thing. I thought maybe I'm wrong there. But yeah, it was. Oh, so there's a lot of accoutrement involved here. You got a lot of extras. You got a 3M filters. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. No. So his had the fanny pack thing. Okay, my bad. That was what it looked like. Um, yeah. It's as good as it gets without going mop. Yeah, I have a mop suit too. I imagine he does too. Um, but yeah. So getting back to our biometrics, you know, there's a neat, there's a use case for it. I'm not gonna lie. I know that it took us forever just to get the healthcare people to start using badge systems for logging in. If you're worried about losing badges, that's another way of doing it. Well, biometrics are fine if you have revoke your credential. Uh, what I'd love to see is biometrics, but like maybe like a salted hash kind of thing. So you could delete the salt, delete the hash, and you're not really, you know, I don't know what it looks like. Maybe there needs to be some randomization. I would love to see some noise or something put in so that you could use the same palm twice along with a salt or something like that, or maybe a palm plus a pin, palm and a pin. Like you have to type in a 4-digit pin and you're doing that at the same time. There's ways of doing, or you know what, you don't use a palm, or you have a palm and your phone has like some kind of near field communication where you can keep that in. I think you could do one or both together, and that would kind of give you the best of both worlds in some cases. But they are hashed, but consider MD5 was an unbreakable hash too. In 10 years, every hash today will be as weak as MD5. You're not wrong, Lady P. You're not wrong. Um, yeah, I've used Face ID on. Oh yeah, speaking of which, let me see. Windows fingerprint sensors. Speaking of biometrics, I wondered why the other day I lost the ability to uh, use my fingerprint scanner on my laptop because I use it on my Lenovo. And apparently, now or since Windows 10, so Windows Hello gives you the ability to log in with like fingerprint or voice feature, which I use the voice feature on my laptop, my streaming box here. I have a Brio that I use for facial recognition. The face cam actually doesn't work for Windows Hello. But these folks have figured out how to, varying degrees of reverse engineering, fool the fingerprint sensor on a Dell Inspiron, which is a synaptic sensor. So Lenovo models have it as well. I was wondering why all of a sudden I couldn't use my fingerprint to log in the other day. I had to use my backup pin. They've managed to do a bypass with the fingerprint sensor. So they say most likely Windows PCs with fingerprint renders will be vulnerable to similar exports. Right. Yeah, right, Izzle. The problem is synaptic sensors are in a lot of Lenovo's, Dell's, HP's. It's like the sensor that a lot of organizations use. And so I went back into Windows Hello after I saw this, and it was like, oh, it's been disabled. And I was like, oh, Windows has automatically been proactive and disabled the fingerprint sensor in my laptop, not allowing me to use it for Windows Hello anymore. And I was like, well, shit. Okay. So, and of course, since the Lenovo laptop's camera is garbage, I can't use it for Windows Hello. So I'm typing password in. No, it's all good. It's all good. Certain conditions will make it not work. Yeah, I've had issues with my shit just failing Windows Hello, like the face recognition doesn't work. But this was a legitimate where it was like Windows said, yeah, you're not going to use that anymore because of this. And what I didn't realize, yeah, so Dell's Goodix sensor implement, so something called SDCP or no, wait. They fucked it up here. So secure device connection protocol should be SDCP, not SCDP. So which one is it? Is it secure connection device protocol? I don't know. They fucked it up in this article. But yeah, so this protocol is not enabled on a lot of these systems. So like Microsoft, I think if you had like a Surface with a touch keyboard, they have like the extra ones. That's disabled as well because Synaptic is the touchpad used, right? So yeah. So if you're wondering why you can't log in with your fingerprints anymore, ta-da! Somebody figured out how to do a bypass because they're not using SCDP or SPCD or whatever. So, and they said they can claim to be the Elon sensor spoofing its VID or PID, or simply claim that an authorized user is logging in. Yeah. Blackwing's recommendation is all Windows Hello fingerprint sensors should actually enable and use SCDP protocol they developed to prevent this kind of thing from happening. It's not bulletproof, but one fingerprint sensor that did use it took more time and effort to break into. Okay, so even if they implement the technology, it's not a silver bullet or bulletproof. It adds more time and effort. I don't know what that is. That's, time and effort. More time could be 20 seconds more, or you need a specific method by which you're doing so. They don't mention that here in the article. But yeah, you need physical access to the device. So that also complicates matters. If somebody has your device long enough to be able to do something like this, they probably could have done other things. Like most USB-C is direct memory access. So under certain circumstances, you could take the hard drive out, or there's other things you can do that other than just logging in. Most users have the ability to install, my Windows 11 home box right here does not have a BitLocker, I don't think. BitLocker. Yeah, I don't think I have BitLocker on Windows 11 Home, which is another thing. But if they have physical access to your box, they can do a lot of things with it, not just logging in or not logging in. There's the evil maid attacks where we've seen attacks on BIOS or UEFI stuff. No, Beta Wolf, why do you want to yeet your box out a window? What's making you want to do that? You don't have to do that. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, I still use my password. I use a code. I have the Open AI API. Oh yeah, the thing you and I were talking about earlier. Yeah. Well, they're give OpenAI a little slack. They're going through some things right now. So that's an understatement, isn't it? It's like, yeah, give them a break. They're having some issues right now. It's not like they're out of toner or they need more office supplies. They're going through a whole shakeup of leadership. The last thing I heard about that was they fired the CEO and somebody else. The CEO and them went to Microsoft, and then OpenAI is like, oh shit, we're getting a lot of bad media press. We need to do something about it. hey, why don't y'all come back? And that's the last I heard about those things. So telling me my API key usage is exceeding quota, I've never even used it. Maybe somebody's guessed your CEO and chairman. Yeah, there you go. Beta Wolf, maybe somebody used your key, or maybe they were able to enumerate those keys pretty easily. I don't know. Maybe says zero usage. Well, that's how many you get to use. You're exceeding your quota of -1 times. So, oh well, sorry. There's probably better APIs out there you could use. I'm just messing. I hope you figure it out, Beta Wolf. Sounds like some interesting stuff you're going to be working on there. So. Yeah, yeah. I have to keep track of the time. I'm getting hangry. Like I said, I've already talked to my doctor today about my meds and stuff. So it was a good discussion. She asked me about how I feel versus what I was doing before, and I was like, well, I feel like. She's like, are you 0% better or up to 100% better? I was like, well, I feel like I'm about 50% better. And she's like, I'm usually striving for about 75, and I was like, I don't know what 100% looks like for me. You know, I'm being completely subjective about my 50%, and maybe I'm like underscoring how well or how poorly I'm doing. And I was like, it's completely subjective. I know that there's a difference. I guess I need to solicit input from management, my wife, and those to see if I've improved, or if some of it's just being more mindful about things. So, let me see. I had a list of things. What does my stream information say? Fake speakers, dead conference. Okay. Yeah. So it's interesting, the biometric stuff. Depending on which biometrics is being used. I mean, it is a way of getting around. Um, ideally, you would want they say how long do you retain your Palm data? They as long as you're enrolled with Amazon One Enterprise, whatever that means, employed with the enterprise. So it's going to be incumbent upon companies to remove that information. Um, what I'm hoping is that the defaults are as secure as they can be, and it's going to be one of those things like, if your company's going to use this, you're going to follow these rules, and these rules are like ultra turned on. There is no turned off. Whatever turned off is still more secure than like default passwords or whatever. Um, so it says if you leave your current employer, your enterprise system admin can permanently delete your data from enterprise systems. Your data will also be automatically deleted if you do not interact with the enterprise device for 2 years. 2 years is a long time to not, assuming your enterprise system admins remember to offboard you properly, that stuff is still sitting in there for 2 years. I don't know what they could do with it. They could do replay attacks. I'm hoping that that's part of the thing that they're looking at to reduce the chances. sorry, Lady P. What do you mean? Is that when has that ever been a reality? Like offboarding people properly or deleting data? My guess is the retention of the data. I don't know anybody. Deleting data is a difficulty. So, yeah, best security. Yeah. Well, if a company gets involved with Amazon Enterprise or Amazon One Enterprise, then they will have to use Amazon's process for that. My guess. If I enroll at an enterprise, can I use my Palm for payments at Whole Foods Market? No, you will not be able to use your Palm to pay Whole Foods or other Amazon One enrolled locations. We offer a private collection of Palm signatures for each. My guess is the Amazon, yeah, stronger data isolation and security. So they're not allowing it to be used for anything else other than authentication at work. They might actually have different encryption levels. So for business, you may have 1020. I'm just throwing out numbers here. I do not know, but they might have like 1024-bit encryption, for Whole Foods Market, and may have 4096 for the enterprise version because of what you're using. You would hope that it's something similar. I don't know, but yeah, there's It'll be interesting to see if people take advantage of it. It will also be interesting to see if companies allow for opt out um, on that as well. If you can continue using a key card or, um, maybe because there's a lot of trust here. You have to trust Amazon. You have to trust your company to do the right thing. You have to trust your system admins. I will decline invariably to provide biometrics. The only biometrics I begrudgingly provide is the DMV. Oh yeah, because they make you put your thumbs on the sheet. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. This is the first that I've seen of anything like this. So hopefully we'll get to see as it goes along what happens here. So let me go back. Yeah, you can go read this. I just saw this come across the wire the other day. Wink. There we go. So talking about employees taking data that they shouldn't and running into issues, NVIDIA is being sued after a senior employee who left into the company showed their previous company's data on a call with NVIDIA. It gets dumber. Don't worry. So it's software engineer. They hired a software engineer from a company called Valeo. And the engineer's name's Mohammed Monzirumianman. Funny enough, on the subject I'm working on, Amazon dropped. Funny enough, on the subject, the thing I'm working on, Amazon dropped Q. Oh, hey, Age, what's up? Howdy. Talking about people who took data from work and then used it against another company. So this engineer made a blunder. He shared his screen and showed his ex-colleagues some source code they immediately recognized as their own. Now he's in trouble with both companies. Paris-based Valeo filed against NVIDIA for profiting from trade secrets. So this person left NVIDIA, or no, he left Valeo to go to work for NVIDIA. So this guy is working for NVIDIA. Went and had a conference with his ex-colleagues at Valeo. He is like a senior developer or something now, something like that. And so, yeah, he messed up. Yeah, he took scores. So scores, 4 and 7 years ago or something. So scores 20. So they're saying he took 20s of Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, PDFs, and Excel spreadsheets to facilitate his understanding of the stolen code, the operation of the ultrasonic sensors, and data obtained and transmitted by those sensors with him to NVIDIA, where he was soon promoted to a senior position and worked on a project for the manufacturer that had partially moved some of its software contracts from Valeo to NVIDIA. That's bad. Bad, right? However, it took 6 months for Valeo to realize something was amiss. And the company said it was clued in thanks to a simple error made on a video call. So he didn't even bother to hide that information and pooched it. So under the terms of the contract with the manufacturer, engineers from both Valeo and NVIDIA were required to participate in virtual collaboration meetings. One of these conferences took place in 2022. So he's now employed by NVIDIA from Valeo and shared and attended the video conference call along with other employees and shared his screen. Wow. So brazen was his theft, the file path on his screen still read Valeo docs. You're not even trying, bro. I mean, my guess is it's like he's sitting there with his boss, and they're like, "Do you know what you did was wrong?" Goes, "Oh, if I'd known that was wrong, I wouldn't have done it in the first place." It just feels, Jesus. So somebody else called him out on the call to the fact he was still sharing his screen. He dropped his screen share of Valeo's code according to the legal documents, but by then it was too late. Valeo employees took a screenshot and passed it back to their employer. Oh, so no, wait, there was something else. Yeah, he granted unauthorized access to his own personal email account. So internally, he granted his Gmail account or whatever his personal email account was, and then he stole 6 gigabytes of source. Yeah, he's not going to be employed for much longer. He's gonna be done. So unfortunate for him, but that's fine. Convicted of unlawful acquisition, use, and disclosure of trade secrets. It's unclear whether he's still working for NVIDIA. My guess is no. He'll get sued probably by Vallejo and by NVIDIA. And now NVIDIA's in some shit because now it's like they have IP for a declaration that NVIDIA has no rights to use confidential research. That's hot garbage, man. Fax is a side channel. Age alternate channels are often required. Yep. I have to do a background check for my contract coming up. They're demanding I sign a form and then fax it to them because they can't accept a digital signature. My argument was that once I fax a document, my signature becomes digital. Seems lost. Yeah, DocuSign is around for a reason. I'm surprised they don't take mail. Like, could you mail it to them, or sign a document and then have it FedExed where you have to sign for it or something? It's super weird, but it sounds like you've got a contract, so that's cool. Age, I'm glad you're going to be working. I'm just mad that I have to use a printer and touch paper. Yeah, yeah. Um, when we bought our house, we did a lot of work through DocuSign for the San Diego house here. But then when we bought a house in Texas, we paid cash for it, so we didn't have to go through all the financing and stuff. But um, we signed everything electronically and then had a notary come out and do everything over again. And I'm still stymied by that. It's like, why am I wasting my time doing the electronic copies and still have to come back and have the notary do all these things? Just nuts, just nuts. You could use eFax. Yeah, there are definitely eFaxes. Actually, I think the last one I tried, it was like you just send an email to this and then they send that to you. You still have to print it and sign it. Hmm. That's why I have my Surface. I can I sign and print things with the signature on it. But yeah, it sucks that the company has to do that or asks you to do that. It just seems like a pain in the ass. Yeah, I actually had a copy paste signature I used to have for a while before I could sign with my Surface Pen and everything. Let me see what else. GeekWire. Oh, you've got Google Drive. Make sure you've not lost any data. I haven't lost any data here. Yeah, eFax is a good one. Yeah, there's a handful of them out there. Google Drive users are reporting that recent file. Yeah, I mean, they're wanting you to fax it. I mean, what's what's the difference between you signing it and then e-faxing it over, or actually having to go to mailboxes, et cetera, or postal annex or something like? Is there a mailbox, et cetera? I don't know. I know there's a postal annex because I got one down the street here that I had to use. Um, you know, 3.5 week contract. Yeah, yeah. UPS store. I mean, any place would have fax machines. Yeah. Actually, well, I don't have a phone line in my house. No, I don't have a phone line in my house. So yeah, just eFax or some kind of app to do that would be best. So apparently, some Google Drive users are reporting that they've lost data, and cloud service reverted to a storage snapshot from around April or May of 2023. I have all of my data. I don't know if they've managed to fix it or address this issue, but I haven't seen anything come out of the ordinary. I have a VoIP adapter on my fax. Oh, that's a good idea. I actually used what was it called, Uma, when I first moved to Seattle a decade ago. Uma was, yeah, VoIP service. I actually had one because I started the podcast, and if you go listen to some of the earlier episodes, I think I actually put a VoIP phone number on there. The only thing I ever got was spam. I was using it for work, and then I had it as a podcast like phone line, and then I got rid of it because the only thing I got was a lot of telemarketers and voice spam. But Uma was really good then. Yeah. So so They suggested that there was no indications of user error, but a problem with the services system that prevented synchronization of data between local devices and the Google Cloud at some point, to the point where you may not have your data that after May of 2023. Again, like I said, I don't have this issue, but it was really weird. Recommendation of those affected is avoid making changes to the root or data folder until the situation clears up and the root cause is determined. Understandably, many users and companies probably are frustrated by the loss of critical data they entrusted to the cloud-based service. Again, one reason I've started, I use a combination of SyncThing and Google Drive. I actually have SyncThing syncing to my Google Drive so that I have local copies of stuff and it syncs to my Google Drive, because this is exactly the nightmare scenario. I was like, well, if I have when I was doing podcasts, I was like, oh shit, I need to be able to, have a backup in case Google Drive was to ever fail. And so far it hasn't failed, but then you get stories like this that are like, oh, you might be shit out of luck if you had several terabytes of data and, after May of 2023, you just don't have that data anymore. Great. So yeah. Trust and cloud have never been a relational link in my vocabulary. I don't know. Yeah, I can trust, 5 nines or 6 nines of protection, but yeah, trust but verify, Jesus saves, make your backups, that kind of thing. Because you're backing up stuff to like Glacier or some kind of slow, long-term backup solution for Google. That shit can go away, or you can lose that information. I mean, hard drive prices are getting smaller. I bought a 4 terabyte drive. Where's that one at? Oh, here it is. I've got, an NVMe drive inside of this for 4 terabytes of, space, and it's about the size of a deck of cards, right? 4 terabytes. SSD for like 179 or something. Let's see. 4 terabyte NVMe. Yeah, I mean, $200 isn't bad for 4 terabytes. That's pretty damn good. And that's not even. I mean, you can get ones that'll do 5 gigs a second, and this one will put it away. I've actually transferred up to a gigabyte a second, so that's pretty badass. Just in case we get corrupted universe, save Jesus. SPUDO, where's that? Oh yeah, see, this is the one I purchased, the 4 terabyte one here. So it wasn't 276 at the time. I think it was probably a little bit more than that. So it's on sale slightly right now. Oh, the Silicon Power one, yeah. NVMe 4.0, yeah. My problem is getting the right adapter for these things. Is it the B or the M, or is it, is there some kind of universal adapter now? They couldn't create an NVMe drive that had one standard. They had to have 3 freaking standards. So you end up making sure that you have to buy the right, NVMe adapter for the right drive or something like that. The 160, yeah. Yeah, so I bought this one in July. So the Western Digital Black, that's what this one is, and then I put the drive. I think. Let's see what I bought with it. Let's see, bought. It's not bad, not bad. My problem is, yeah, if you don't use the right cable for this one, it tends to run a lot slower. Like if you don't use the cable that come with the 40 gigabit one, you it's actually uses enough power that'll make my Surface Pro, it kind of shits the bed on. So you have to be careful with that. So SSK cases. This one's called ACASYS or SIS. So ACASIS. Yeah, so not this one here. Oh, hello. Oh, hello, Christmas. Oh shit, and it's got HDMI in it. Oh, hello. You're pretty, aren't you? Yes. Oh, look at that. Maybe Daddy will put that in his Christmas list here. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Sandy Claus is gonna buy me 10-in-1 USB-C with SSD. Loses something in the translation. Man, that's nice. Okay. Anywho, need to keep an eye out on the time because we're supposed to go to dinner. So, what was the last thing I wanted to talk about? Let me go see stream information. Oh, exceeding pen test. Oh my God. Okay, so there was a discussion. There it is. All right, so somebody posted up a haha funny poll about, do you think a red team or a pen tester should ever go out of scope? I'm hoping that the people who said yes, 17.4% of the people on this list, tongue in cheek. I'm hoping, hopefully, completely 100% tongue in cheek. Obviously, the ethical side of Brian here said no, we should never go out of scope, which is the right answer. And Mr. Reboot, of course, was jokingly, as you go back through here, he's like, okay, yeah, 2,082 people voted. And I'm assuming at least 10% of the yeses were just haha, trolly. But yeah, there were some folks that were like, oh, I should have had a better thing on here. But they were talking about, if they see a good reason to go out of scope while still within scope. I think everybody pretty much said, if you see something, don't touch it, but let people know, and then talk to the customer and see if you can get an expanded scope. You should never exceed scope. Now, I'm not going to say now, but there's no but. I have worked on bug bounty programs, and you set a scope in your bug bounty. There will be people that will exceed that scope, which sucks ass. But sometimes they find stuff that's actually good. So you do have to have some kind of, I don't want to reward them for it, but you do need to have some kind of, hey, you've exceeded scope, but we appreciate your reporting it. Here's a couple $100. That sucks. It's not the best way of going about doing so. But they found something, right? Whether it be you've got a www site with a Marketo bullshit on it, and Marketo is hot garbage on the good days. You're going to have people who are going to go out of scope. And who's Vinny Troya? I don't know who that is. Oh, Mr. Reboot. Yeah. I've been on fucking Twitter since 2009, so I've probably unfollowed more people that have ever followed me ever. So, but yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people follow me. I have stopped following a lot of people that have like over 50,000 followers or 10,000 followers. But so there's always going to be people that are wanting to exceed scope, and the one thing is you have to have a clearly defined scope. You have to make sure that people are, if they cross the line, they let you know. I have no problem when engaging with pen testers. I'm like, look, I want you to look at this, but in the event you're testing here and you find something that exists over here, we would love for you to let us know. I would rather them tell us, oh, by the way, I was doing this scan and something over here hit, or I, was doing this and something fell over. I wanted to go over here and investigate, or I was on this, I took this, curve and I ended up on this file server that I shouldn't have been on, and I found this. My bad, or, hey, I've taken this turn, I'm on this file server. Do you want me to test this? Well, yeah, I guess, because if I'm a bad guy, a bad guy who's gaining access to this and can go from here to here, and this is outside the scope, that guy's not gonna care about scope, right? So it's like, yeah, you're probably gonna want to go look at that for us if you've got the time. I mean, we've scoped you for this. Scope creep is a bitch. We don't want you, going too far afield, but we appreciate the due diligence, right? I would rather have somebody tell me, hey, I went A, B, D, and D is not in the list. I'd much rather them tell me that, because then I can go, oh, well, why do I have that connection? Or why can somebody get from here to here? They shouldn't be able to do that. Oh, well, we have an unknown ACL or something that, or a LAN connection, or somebody's ran an Ethernet port from this switch to this switch, or they shouldn't have. Being able to investigate those things can help me find places where maybe we didn't maybe we need to work on our hygiene a little bit. So I see, yeah, I guess red teamers should be getting goals and scopes. I might be wrong. I've always had a problem scoping red team engagements. We might decide to exclude items like SE. I would much rather know and be told it was out of scope, and then I'll be like, yeah, have at it. Figure out how deep this rabbit hole goes. Than, oh well, I tested all this stuff and I'm not going to tell them about that. I guess it just depends on the maturity of the organization. Some people do get bent out of shape about that. You do see, I think somebody cited the Iowa courthouse thing somewhere in this list here. But yeah, I mean, that's a whole different, that they didn't exceed scope. They just didn't get all the parties who, it was big political bullshit. So that's not on coal fires people. That's kind of the Iowa bullshit thing, that could happen to anybody. So, but yeah, so it's just interesting bits that happen. I went through this whole list and I didn't see anybody who specifically was like, long answer, no, petition, yeah, contract is contract. Some people have added to this thing. Pen testers should be managed. They will discover vulnerabilities. If they have bad actors, they'll share the vulnerability information with others and increase cybersecurity risk. We have a depends. Need to respect the contract and trust the customer. So too far the wrong way with good intentions may not turn out as well as hoped. Also be careful you're not giving away too much free work. They're not obliged to pay you for anything you've agreed is out of scope. Right. And at me as the people who's employing the pen testing firm, I shouldn't, expect a ton of free work, but I'll be just like, maybe you give me a quick, if you can, that kind of thing. Or, maybe we schedule some follow-on work. That's the important thing. So I have 5 minutes. I'm going to go. I'm hoping to be on Friday. I was actually not expecting to be on today, but then I realized my doctor's appointment was virtual, so I didn't have to drive. Looking to be on Friday. We'll do some Rust. We'll talk about some more stuff. If there's some developments about the fake conference thing, we'll definitely update y'all on that. But until then, thank you all for coming. Let's go raid somebody. Who's on right now? Raid, Twitch TV break a sec. I'm also working diligently on my side project as well. Pone College. I haven't raided Pone College. Let's go raid Pone College. Sounds like it might be something we can go check out. PWN College. All right. Go check that out. And I'll sit here with you for a few minutes, and then we'll go see what Pone College is about. Thanks, Age. Thanks, Lady P. Thanks, Beta Wolf. Thanks to let me scroll back up. Isilha314. Thank you all for coming, and see you all later. Bye.